Elsie.
And I'm Debbie.
And we're Two Sisters Southern Cooking.
Hey y'all, so we are making French onion soup today, and before we get to making it, we're going to make our bread that we're going to use as the topping for the French onion soup. So we have water, sugar, and yeast that we're going to put in first, and then we'll start adding in the rest of the ingredients. This is called a Hearty
White bread.
Yeah. So we're going to get started.
The temperature of the water needs to be about 105 to 115. So that's just something to keep in mind. It just needs to be warm. So that'll help feed the yeast. Hot water will kill it, cold water will kill it, so you want it to be right in between.
Now, if you don't have active instant yeast, you will need to let this bloom for like 10 minutes or so for the yeast to bloom. But we have active yeast, so we can move right along.
You can already see it starting to bloom and proof.
Yep.
This is bread flour. We use like white lily.
I always keep bread flour on hand because I make, when you're not here, I make bread quite often. So I just, one day this past, Monday, I bought, no I didn't, it was yesterday or the day before, I bought some bread flour. Because I noticed it was, I noticed it was getting about that much in the container.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and bought another one.
That was salt, and we are doing vegetable oil, and we are doing melted butter. So you're gonna have double whammy to be able to make it nice and moist.
All right, I'm gonna put it in our bread machine on the dough cycle. We're not gonna let this bake in the bread machine.
No.
You could if you wanted to. At this point, you could just put it on your bread cycle and just let it go from beginning to end, bake it and everything. But we like to bake our bread in a bread pan or in a loaf pan.
The bread's more tender when you do that too. It's better. It's more moist. It's tender.
I feel you get more bread if you put it in the bread pan, in a loaf pan.
And for some reason it seems almost like when it's baked in the bread machine, it's kind of tough actually, and it's not real tender. But if you bake it in the oven, that's where you get the better bread.
And if you bake it in here, it's not as big of a loaf either. It's about that high. Where when you put it in a loaf pan, you get about that high, that big around. So.
And the yeast can expand a little more, but it's compacted into this little bread dough.
So, but do it as you please. You could do it in the bread machine from beginning to end. That's your choice.
Yeah. If you do that, then you need to do that on the white bread cycle.
Right.
So, but we're going to do it under the dough cycle. So we can bake our own.
Hey y'all, so I have got my bread out of the bread machine. I got the dough out. So I'm gonna roll it out and make a loaf. Alright. Alright, that was pretty simple. Have my pan here. Set it in it. And then we're going to let this rise again before we bake it. And hopefully it rises up above the top. It should. To give us a nice big loaf of bread.
Look at this bread. Oh my gosh. It looks fantastic. It smells heavenly. Fresh bread always smells so good. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to cut bread if you don't know how, especially fresh bread. Let me just show you. So you're going to make your mark, and then you're going to do a sawing motion back and forth because you want this to be, look at that, beautiful. So you want it to be thin enough, but you don't, because this is very delicate. This is a delicate piece of bread. But you're going to make a sawing motion all the way down. That's some good hearty bread right there. I do have at home, and I keep forgetting to bring it, I have a guide that you put your bread inside of, and you cut it. I keep forgetting it. But as long as you remember to do the sawing motion back and forth and don't press down on the bread, then you'll be good. This is actually going to go into our French onion soup. Nice, hearty, thick bread. Look at that. It's going to be so good. Put a little butter on here. You'll have some delicious bread. Now when you get down towards the end like this here, it does get a little tricky. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and use this in our French onion soup. It'll be so good, y'all. Wait for the next step.
I'm Elsie.
And I'm Debbie.
And we're Two Sisters Southern Cooking.
Please like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you.